Okay, this is a quick tutorial on dodge cancelling and how to abuse Kerenzikov's weird mechanics to move really fast. The first thing we want to do is change our dodge key bindings because the defaults are really terrible. By default, dodge is double tap direction keys. So to dodge forward, to dodge left, to dodge backwards. And this is really terrible for a lot of reasons, but the main one is that if you're running forwards and you want to dodge, you have to stop to double tap. The other thing is if you want to dodge diagonally, you have to sort of smash two keys at the same time and hope it works, which it really isn't, so it's not ideal. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to wherever you installed the game. So I have mine in D: Games, God Galaxy, Games Cyberpunk 2077. There's a folder in here called R6. And where is it? Config. And you'll see these two files, input context and input user mappings. So we open input context, and you're going to look for a line called, I think it's called this. Yeah, dodge button. And what you're going to do is you're going to add this line, whatever's here underneath IK pad B circle, just delete it and add this line. This key can be whatever you want it to be. I'm left-handed, so I use left shift and I press it with my thumb. And I palm spacebar, which is to jump. It doesn't matter what key you choose as long as you can activate it with your little finger or your thumb, because you want your index, ring and middle finger on the direction keys. And that's important when you want to dodge sideways, backwards, in any direction. So change that line, and then in input contexts you're going to search for, and I think it's action equals dodge in quotation marks. Oh, equals. Yeah. If you want to disable double tap entirely, you can change all of these to 99. But I'm not really too fussed about it. I don't change these. But the one that you really want to change is this. By default is 2. And you want to change it to 1. And if you save both files, what this does is it means you can activate dodge with left shift, and you only need to press it once to perform the dodge. So in game it will look like this. So dodge, 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 and so on. Okay, so to dodge cancel, normally when you sprint like this, you can hear me kind of pressing the dodge key. It doesn't do anything because it's disabled. In any other locomotion state, like, you can dodge just fine. So if you sneak, you can dodge out of it. If you walk, you can also dodge. And if you jog, there we go. But for some reason when you're sprinting, it's just disabled. So we can get around that by, we need 3 cyberware. Yeah, 3 pieces of cyberware to do this. So the main 2 are maneuvering system. This allows you to dodge in midair. And Kerenzikov. And you really want the legendary version because, for reasons I'll explain later, the duration's important because it lets you dodge more times while in time dilation. And the other good quality of life one is reinforced tendons. This allows you to double jump. And you'll want this to just jump over cars, because if you so much as touch them when they're moving, you'll get knocked over and it's really annoying. So as long these are mandatory. Like, this movement will not work if you don't have all 3 of these. Okay, so Where do we start? Dodge cancelling. So to dodge cancel, you're going to sprint. You're going to jump. And as soon as you touch the ground, you're going to jump again. So you're going to sort of hop like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add an air dodge to it. So at the apex of your jump, just as you're falling, just before you hit the ground, you want to air dodge and then jump. So like this. That's what happens if... That's a stall. That's what happens if you time it badly. Like this. That's a stall. And you can do this in any direction, so you can do it, well, you can do it sideways. You can do it backwards too. So this allows you to kind of move at sprint speed, because normally you can only sprint forwards. You can't sprint backwards, and you can't sprint sideways. But if you dodge cancel like this, you can sort of move in any direction really, really fast. Okay, let's quickly talk about conserving momentum between locomotion states, or when transitioning from one state to another. I think this is pretty intuitive. If you toggle walk, if you walk forwards and then jump, you're not going to travel very fast or very far. But if you sprint and then jump, you'll travel like quite a bit further and faster. See this when you double jump as well. So the same is also true if you substitute sprinting for dodging, because when you dodge, you'll get this sudden burst of acceleration. You'll reach a peak velocity, and then you will rapidly decelerate to a standstill. So what we really want to do is we want that acceleration, because that can be conserved. Like like when you accelerate to peak velocity, that velocity will be conserved when you jump. But the problem is you can't jump in the middle of a dodge, like or a ground dodge. I'm trying to do it now. So you'll end up dodging, decelerating to a standstill, and then you're allowed to jump. And we don't want to do that. So there's this also happens if you do it in the air as well. So if you jump, air dodge, you'll kind of see you just kind of stop in the air and then drop. But if you time your dodge in such a way, and you're going to be sort of jumping like this, and as you descend from your jump, right before you touch the ground, you're going to air dodge and then jump. And you want to time it so that you hit that kind of, you get that burst of acceleration, but just before you start slowing down and coming to a standstill, you want to touch the ground at that point and then jump. And what this will... Something really weird happens when you do this, because ordinarily you can't jump in the middle of a dodge, but if you start an air dodge and you touch the ground halfway through the dodge, you can actually jump. And I think that's to do with switching from like air dodge decisions to ground dodge decisions. I'm not sure exactly how it works in the script. Okay, so if you air dodge too early, you're going to decelerate and come to a standstill in the air, and you're going to drop and hit the ground. And then you're going to lose all of your momentum when you jump. If you air dodge too late, you're going to basically ground dodge, and then you won't be able to jump until you come to a standstill. And both of those scenarios mean you lose all of your momentum. But if you time it just right, you can kind of cancel the deceleration, never come to a standstill, and just kind of bop around like this. You don't need to dodge jump every single jump. I do it every second jump, so it's dodge, jump, jump, dodge, jump, dodge, jump, jump, dodge, jump, jump, dodge, jump, jump, dodge, jump, jump, like that. I would just move around sort of like dodge cancelling like this normally, just because it gets you into the rhythm of it. And the rhythm is kind of important, because if you get the timing wrong, you'll stall like this. You'll kind of just drop out of the sky like a stone. Okay, the next thing we need to talk about is Kerenzikov, which you can activate by blocking and dodging. And there are two problems with activating Kerenzikov on the ground. The first is, and I'm gonna while the time dilation is active, I'm gonna spam my dodge and jump key. So, like, as you can tell, you can't dodge and you can't jump while time dilation is active. So, Kerenzikov on the ground greatly restricts your movement. And the second thing that's really annoying about Kerenzikov is you will lurch forward, you will slow down, and then you will come to a standstill. And if you're doing this in combat, especially against like max tack, or you just aggro everything at once, if you're swinging and you slow down and you suddenly stop, this makes you really vulnerable. And if you take 2 or 3 bullets, you'll just die instantly. So we never want to activate Kerenzikov on the ground. But because we have maneuvering system, we can dodge in the air, which means we can activate Kerenzikov in the air. And I'll show you what that looks like. And you'll kind of notice there that I double jumped while time dilation is active. For some reason, activating Kerenzikov in the air breaks all of its movement rules. I don't really know why that is. You can actually jump, air dodge, jump, double jump, and you'll kind of, it won't slow you down. So Kerenzikov in the air, dodge, jump, dodge, double jump, and you'll fly really fast. Because these are all based on like dodging actions, you can do them in any direction. So you can actually change direction in midair. You can turn right angles, or you can reverse direction like this. As far as I'm aware, Kerenzikov is the only way you can change directions in midair. So we're going to put this all together now, and you'll kind of see when you get in combat and stack cold blood, you'll gain movement speed, and all of this will work better. You will move faster, you will jump further. If you have a shotgun, if I can find which perk it is. This is a thing you can do as well. I think it's when entering combat with a shotgun, your movement speed increases by 20%. This will also help. And there's another one. Defeating an enemy with a shotgun increases movement speed by 20% for 10 seconds. So this is optional. This does help, but it's not necessary. The main thing that you really need is this. After defeating an enemy, gain cold blood for 7 seconds. It's 2%. It sounds like a small number, but the way that it works is it's multiplicative. So it's much more valuable than the shotgun move speed. And it stacks 5 times. So let's just ignore the shotgun for the time being. And we're going to use air dodging and dodge cancelling to move around. we're only going to activate Kerenzikov in the air, and we're going to use our air dodges and time dilation to travel really fast and really far. And the other thing that I'm going to do is every time that I'm not attacking something, I'm going to holster a weapon. There's kind of a reason for that. If you have a weapon drawn and you sprint, you'll kind of get this annoying head bob. And that's called additive camera motions. There's an option for this as well. I have it disabled. This additive camera motions is kind of how recoil works in this game, and it's responsible for the head bobbing and your camera kind of flinging around when you melee. So it's impossible to turn it off in combat. If you have this on and you holster a weapon, you can kind of see your head is bobbing when you sprint. And I find this really annoying. So I turn it off. You'll kind of see the difference. So without additive camera motions, your movement is really smooth. So whenever I'm not attacking something, I'll holster a weapon so I can move around without head bobbing. Sprint, dodge cancel, air Kerenzikov, air dodge jump. Just move around by dodge cancelling. Do it sideways. Air Kerenzikov, touch the ground, air dodge, jump. Lamppost. Holster weapon when you're not attacking. Air Kerenzikov, touch the ground, air dodge, change direction, jump. Whichever direction you air dodge, you'll travel in that direction, so you can use it to go backwards like this. I always find it helps to jump over or past enemies that are shooting at you, because it forces them to spin and draw a melee weapon, and that means they're not shooting at you. Kind of like that. So the entire time you'll basically be airborne. You'll only be touching the ground to change directions and to dodge cancel. That's really it. In combat, you always want to be moving because enemies have a lower chance to hit you when you are moving fast. They have a lower chance to hit you if you're in the air and when you're dodging. Also, sliding, I think it's minus 50% chance, but we'll never slide because it's a ground action. We want to stay in the air. If you stay airborne, move, use Kerenzikov on engage and disengage, or otherwise treat it as a panic button, the goal is really just to reduce the incoming damage to the point where passive health regen and heal on kill will just recover all of your life. So you can kind of see in the footage right now that I'm barely getting hit because I'm airborne. When I do get hit, I immediately recover all of my health from heal on kill. And you can kind of keep doing this against max tac forever as long as you don't do what I did earlier, which is run in straight lines at enemies shooting at you. Other than that, you'll be fine. If there's anything that I forgot to mention, just drop it in the comments and I'll try and address it there. Other than that, hope it was helpful.